Guys, you've heard me read a lot of headlines on the podcast, but this might be the most important one I've ever read. It is officially peak paver season in the Garden State.
Big old PPS.
PPS tatted on my chest.
All right, that's a little weird.
It's peak paver season. What does that mean, Josh Sobo? You're talking about pavers. Well, our friends over at Ruther Material have some of the best patio stones, patio blocks, if you will, you can get. That's right. They're selling Nico-Lock pavers. Just a few weeks back, Josh Chomick and I got to go up to Nico-Lock's manufacturing facility right here in New Jersey in Sussex County and see how they make these patio blocks right here in the Garden State. It was so cool. And the best part is you can buy local, support local from Ruther Material. Head on over to their location in Succassana or North Bergen and amp yourself up. Get hyped up for peak paver season. Get that patio going, man. Get the grill going. It's time. Summer's upon us. And make sure to tell them the Garden State sent ya. Hey, New Jersey, are you in the market for a sweet new ride? Everybody likes getting a new car. The new car smell, the leather seats, the bucket seats, Apple CarPlay. Who doesn't love all this stuff? I know I do. Well, if you're in the market for a new car, we've got you covered. Our friends over at Sansone Auto Mall in Avenel have the largest auto mall in New Jersey. We're talking over 50 acres of cars. They have so many cars, they built a parking garage on the lot to store the cars they have. I'm talking every single make and model pretty much that you could look for. A Toyota, a Mazda, Kia, Hyundai, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Rams, all of them. And the best part, they got some really great prices. So head on over to Sansone Auto Mall on Route 1, tell them the Garden State sent you, and get yourself in that sweet new ride for this summer.
Hey, this is Jersey. You're listening to the Garden State.
How does Jordan keep getting away with not wearing Garden State merch for the podcast? That's like your only job when you come in here, Jordan. Get a shirt on.
Last week, Jimmy told me I didn't have to.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why would he ever say that?
Hey, he doesn't make the rules.
I take orders from him now, so.
Okay.
That's
Because
crazy.
I was about to put merch on. He's like, no, you don't have to. I was like, okay.
That's unacceptable.
I don't know.
And Josh is really upset.
I'm very upset.
I'm fine with it.
Well,
But
you guys got to talk to him then. It's not up to me.
I think it is good, though, while we're on the topic, to mention to the listeners, well, hi, everybody. Welcome back to another week of the Garden State podcast, where you get all your New Jersey news and information and facts. We're redoing the intro.
You're doing the intro.
Shoot. Okay, I'm going to forget about that. No, you have to acknowledge the listeners that they're there. they're listening to us.
that's why the intro was perfect.
We did go live today with our 4th of July annual t-shirt.
Yes.
We release it every year, but this year we have it in white and in black. And I'm wearing the black one, and I have to say, I really like this shirt a lot.
First, you're doing the black shirts, and they're our favorite type of shirts. Like I wear all black all the time. I think it's a perfect shirt, and the colors look very nice on it. It really pops. So,
Yeah, definitely.
If you want to support the Garden State and what we do here, you can go on over to thegardenstate.com, pick up a 4th of July Garden State tee. If you have the white one from previous years, get a black one this year. Grow the collection. Support the movement. And if you order it this week, you'll have it plenty of time before 4th of July. So
Support the program. You know, we're building something here.
we're trying.
We're trying.
4 years in, I think now we're finally starting to get somewhere, which is...
The wheels are starting to turn.
That's what they say about all these businesses, though, right? It takes like 4 or 5 years to actually start making something.
Yeah, I mean, like, we've only made like $10 million so far, which is very underwhelming. I was hoping by now we'd be nearing the billion mark. But, yeah, we're going to get there. We're going to get there one day. So
Almost there.
We're just going to keep trucking along. But, hey, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. I was thinking I wanted to talk for a moment before we do news and mailbag a little bit about my weekend, because I took a drive out 78 out to a little place called Alstead Farms. You guys know Alstead Farms?
I've definitely heard of it.
It's like a pumpkin picking patch in Chester that I usually
no,
would,
I've been there.
you go there in the fall to
Yeah.
get pumpkins or apples.
So what are you doing there this time of year?
And I went strawberry picking and snap pea picking, which is very random.
What's a
Those-
snappy?
You know, like edamame.
Oh,
I think that's snap pea, edamame.
what's the difference?
Is edamame?
That's snappy.
You should have just
snap.
said edamame.
No, edamame and snap peas are not the same. Okay, then forget everything I said.
They just look the same.
They look the same. It was kind of the same. I mean, like, I was just eating them straight off the plant.
Were they good?
Delicious. Oh my goodness. And the strawberries, these strawberries were red all the way through. You know how you get a strawberry from the store and it's like there's a veneer of red and then everything's white on the inside?
A bunch of chemicals inside.
Yeah, these were like fully red, juicy strawberries, and they were fantastic. It was good to be out in God's country. You go out 78, life gets a little bit more simple.
Is that your future home?
I love it out there. I would move out there in a heartbeat. I would need property though, and I'm realizing the dream of acreage is not a thing unless you go really far out. Like Chester, you can get land.
Like, what's really far out for you? An hour?
I would say past Chester. I mean, like, you gotta go past Tewksbury, out past Clinton, somewhere out there, I feel like.
So that's like over an hour from us, right?
Yeah,
Clinton's
I mean, you
like
go an hour west of here, you could probably get 15 acres, you know, which is, I feel like that's my minimum. Mm-hmm. I'm not moving out there for 7 acres.
You need 15.
I want like 10 at least.
How about
15.
14? Would you do 14?
Yeah.
For the right price?
Yeah, 14 I'd do.
I think 14 is pretty nice.
Enough that I have space to, you know, to hang out,
And get your chickens.
get some chickens.
That's more than enough space. 15 acres?
I
Just
don't
to
know.
hang out? That's all you want to do?
Just hang out, ride
You
some
can do
dirt
that on
bikes.
half an acre.
Well, we have to build our giant fantasy factory on the property too.
Yeah,
With
so
a warehouse.
the
true.
dream, the ultimate dream, and it's going to happen eventually. Buy a house with land, have the Amish come out because we're already halfway to, you know, Pennsylvania. Let them build one of those massive barn garages. We get the studio set up, get a home gym, home office, all of it right there.
Golf simulator.
Golf sim, the Rob Dyrdek Fantasy Factory
Yep.
of our dreams, right here in New Jersey.
Did you see that viral video this week from Pennsylvania, the Amish? There was like 150 men. They lifted up a giant
They're
barn
awesome.
and they walked it across a property to a different area.
They're special.
It's
And
insane.
the crazy thing is you can go online, and I don't know who the middleman is for the Amish because they're selling stuff on the internet, but they don't use electricity. So how does that work?
When they're working, they're allowed to, I think.
I don't know.
'Cause
Are they
I've
using
seen-
power drills? And yeah,
Well, yeah,
they're-
I've seen some where it's like they're allowed to have a cell phone when they're on the clock, but the second they're off the
Whoa.
clock, they can't use it.
I don't know. I think there's different breeds and
There's probably
different denominations.
different levels
different
to
breeds.
Like there's some hardcore Amish people that
it. Never use it. Yeah.
they're never using
Yo,
electricity. They're
are-
churning butter.
Oh, dude, I got more. I don't know why this week I've been getting so many Amish videos on my For You page. Another one was like a guy is like, he was stoked. He's like, I hired these 2 young Amish guys.
Yeah, I
they
saw
must have
that.
been like 20 years old. And they're like, they said they could build me a deck in one day.
Yeah.
And the guy gets back from work. The deck is fully finished.
They're amazing. They're amazing. They're gifted at
Are
building.
do they price? Like, is
It's
their price
fair.
pretty good? Or
It's fair pricing. You're getting good quality.
Wow.
It's not like you're going to Home Depot. You know, you're getting a good quality handmade
No,
garage.
yeah, exactly.
There's tons of websites. I've been dreaming about it. You go online. There's like Amish built
They're making
garages.
bank.
I have a friend out in Flemington, and he's a mechanic, and he had the Amish come build him a 2-bay garage. He was like this massive, humongous, like not 40 feet tall, but maybe like 30 feet tall barn. He's like, they just showed up one day and built it for me.
That's awesome.
It is amazing. So, yeah, I mean, that's something to think about if you're living in Jersey. Just a little tip to the listeners at home. Reach out to the Amish.
They'll travel like 2 hours out.
Yeah, for some, what I was looking at is they'll pre-build the barn, and then they just have one of those big trucks. It's
big
like on the back of
tractors?
it. Yeah, it's on the back of it, and they
Wow.
just plop it in your
Special.
yard.
That's
So-
special.
I don't know I don't know who the middleman is, but you know what must be an interesting business segment. Like if you're a businessman, a liaison to the Amish. Someone's making a lot of money doing that. They're like, hey man, I'll sell the sheds.
It's one
Give
of
me
their.
10%.
It's one of their own. It's
I
not like
don't
a
know.
random person.
No,
like, you
it's
can't
got to
get
be
that.
a guy who
You got to be on the
is an
inside.
Amish.
Guys, we might have discovered something. You're like drop shipping for the Amish.
Yeah, they don't. There's no way they know what that is.
Has anyone tapped into that market yet? Could we go out there and say, listen, we have a podcast. We'll sell the sheds. We need a kickback though. I don't know. Just a thought there. Hey guys, Jordan, what did you do this weekend? No more talking about the Amish. I love the Amish. Great people.
This weekend I had a wedding in Pennsylvania. It was kind of far, but on Tuesday, so this wasn't really over the weekend, I went down to Asbury Park.
Which we all wanted to do originally.
Yes, which we were all planning to do in the hopes of seeing McGee. and I had assumed that he was going to be playing on the outdoor stage at the Stone Pony, and so we waited there till 9:00 until there was
on the
group.
boardwalk. You're waiting.
Yeah, we're waiting on the boardwalk. There's other people waiting, like with blankets set out, and we're like, dang, it's pretty dark. Like, when's he gonna come on? And then, all of a sudden we hear music. We're like, oh my gosh, they're on the indoor stage.
No, but you could also see when people are walking, filling up the outside area. You didn't get the hint.
We were eating dinner somewhere.
Oh, so you weren't just hanging
they
out.
had like the doors closed like over there, or just like you couldn't really see in.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I couldn't see that there weren't any people outside. I'm like, wow, they have the stage
Interesting.
lights off and stuff. I'm like, he's
Dude,
playing indoors. I'm like,
you waited like all that
I
time.
thought for sure I'm like he would be playing outdoors because I'm like that's a
a
small venue.
buzzkill, man.
We need a Pony Connect, Stone Pony Connect. There's
really
got to
do.
be
You
a
need a
listener.
Live Nation Connect. That's what you need.
Live Nation.
We all tried getting tickets from McGee a few months ago, right when they went on sale. We entered the queue. We were waiting in line, and they sold out immediately.
Yeah, $40, and then they're on sale for $220. I'm like,
Yeah, resale was ridiculous. That's why I never got one.
Should be a crime, just like the Pokemon cards.
it
Remember
really
I said?
should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got some blowback there on the Pokemon cards. You were saying we have people around us buying Pokemon. There's nothing against buying a Pokemon card. My whole thing was the resale market and all these things ruins the fun. Ticket resellers, card resellers, shoe resellers. It's like, come on.
But that's the fun for those people.
Yeah, but it's
That's
not,
their
it's not
fun.
fun. They're just making money.
Yeah, it's their
They're
business.
smart. They're businessmen.
I know, but it's like somebody like if there's a snowstorm, you go and you buy all the shovels, and then it's like, oh, I'm going to sell them for triple the price.
Exactly.
Like, you're not providing any value other than just like taking advantage of people.
Yeah, after the podcast last week, I went to Josh on the side and I was like, "Did you know?" I named a few people that we know. Like, that's what they do. They buy cards and collect them.
I don't have any issue. I think there's something euphoric about opening a pack of cards and looking for a special one.
Yeah,
That is why
The
cards,
chase.
it is the same itch in your brain as gambling. I really believe. I think for kids, that's the first hit of gambling is you open a pack of cards and you're looking for that holographic one.
well, yeah, especially now because it's all over TikTok. Like the kids see that these people are selling it for millions of dollars. Like,
But
they
don't you
want
think
that.
that's like kind of a similar sort of experience? It's like when you're 9, you buy a pack of baseball cards and you're looking for the sign or the one. Remember they'd cut out a piece of the base or the jersey and put it at the bottom of the card. Do you remember those baseball cards?
I don't think so.
And they would do, there were certain cards where they would take like, a game base or a game worn jersey and they cut a piece of
yeah.
it and they stick it
That's
in the card.
sick.
And something about you open the pack and you feel that one card's a little thicker and you get it after spending $1.25 at ShopRite. I would do that in the summer when I was in 5th grade. I would find quarters all around my house and every time my mom would go to ShopRite, I would buy a pack of something. And when you open that one pack and it finally hits, it is like
It's a good
It's like a
feeling.
gambling addict
Also,
getting what they want.
the smell of
Yeah.
a fresh pack. You
Yes.
open it up, you smell the cards. You know what I'm talking about. It just it has such a good smell to it.
Did you ever get into showdown cards, baseball?
All the time.
Those
Me and
are
my
the
friends
best.
played Showdown.
I still remember the smell of those cards.
Those were so much. I remember we used to go to the local card shop and I used to see people doing tournaments for I never did tournaments, but I was like, this is hardcore. I would just play with my friends. Did you guys used to go to that card shop in Westfield?
I did.
No.
Was it CJ's or something like that?
I forgot.
I went there.
It was
once
on the
or twice.
corner.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was my favorite store in the world. I would go like once a week. I had my dad take me and I would get cards and there were so many cards in this store. It was
It's
the
closed
coolest.
down?
Oh yeah, they closed down years ago and now it's like a kitchen remodeling spot. I don't even know. It's really sad. I'm shocked
Yeah.
that you guys haven't
It's
been
an
there.
interior design
That was my
spot.
favorite store as a
Wait,
kid.
where at Westfield? Is
Right
that?
off South on South Ave, where South Ave kind of splits and goes towards the Westfield Pool. You know that little triangle building on that corner,
It's
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
way,
yeah, yeah.
right before you get to the circle.
Yeah.
right next to the circle.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know that.
That card shop.
Bro,
Yeah,
it was a car.
okay.
Growing up, it was
Classic.
the best, dude. Dreamstorm.
Yeah, I mean, there's something about being a 9-year-old kid opening a pack of baseball cards.
I have
There's
so
something
many
about it.
binders filled with baseball cards. Like I probably have one that's worth something.
I left
Out
mine
of
out in the rain. I was such
Oh,
a
no.
genius. I left my baseball cards on the front porch.
You just forgot it one day after looking at it.
and then it was filled with water. But that's the
No.
way life goes. Wait, so Jordan, so you didn't hear McGee? He played 2 shows though, right?
But yeah,
Played
back-to-back
2,
nights.
yeah. And when I found out he was indoors that night, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy tickets for the next night. And the price was just like fluctuating so much. Like it was like $150. I'm like, I feel like it'll drop more, and then it went down to $90, then $70. And I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna do it, and it jumped to $220. I was like, all right,
Wow.
never mind.
But the night you were there, you texted me. Didn't you see like it was on sale for like $40 for
Yeah,
a
it was
second?
less than 40. But then I went to buy them, and it said they were no longer available. So I'm like,
so many
somebody
other
else,
people were trying to get
yeah,
on
like
it.
somebody else grabbed it who was like sitting there. But I mean, you're
So-
still able to hear them somewhat. So we like stood outside the venue for like 10 minutes just
It
listening.
sounded good from
He was
what
playing
you
all of
posted.
his like banger songs
I
like
saw,
right
like-
off the bat too.
I saw
so,
videos from the show. It looked incredible.
Yeah.
So do the resellers just get nervous because the show's starting? They want to dump their tickets?
Yeah, and sometimes the resellers are just like people like you and me. Like they're not trying to like rip people off. Maybe they just like bought the tickets and they don't want them anymore. So like they're really
Yeah.
trying to make their money back. So last second they're like, let me just put it for what I paid and
Yeah.
see if someone wants to grab it. They give
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, because once the show starts, like now you're at a loss. So they usually just drop them.
Interesting. I like that. I like that you went down and waited outside the venue. I've heard a show. Who do we see, Josh? One time we were in Asbury Park and there was a pop punk band playing.
Yes,
that?
outside, right?
Yeah, and it was like they were playing something classic, one of those like 2005 pop punk songs.
Wasn't it Black Charlotte or something like that?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was something like that.
I forgot who it
Regardless,
was. Yeah, that's not even the name of the band.
Good Charlotte.
Good Charlotte. Black Charlotte.
was
Good
like, who's
Charlotte.
Black Charlotte?
Yeah, I was like, wait, this is bothering me. It might have been. I don't even know. But yeah, it's cool when there's like they're using the summer stage. It's a beautiful venue outside, but if it's inside, you're just hearing a muffled version.
Yeah, but there's like I feel like there's no like it doesn't say on Ticketmaster or really anywhere if it's gonna be indoors or outdoors. I was just kind of guessing. I'm like,
I
it's
assumed
the
it was
beginning
going
of
to be
June.
inside because it's sold out so quick.
But I was
And
also like-
outside is like 3,000, 4,000 cap.
Really?
Yeah, but there are also like thousands of people in the queue. So
That's
I'm
true.
like, there's thousands of people getting multiple tickets. I'm like, he's also super popular. So like, it's got to be outdoors.
And I forgot he's a Jersey kid.
That's what I mean. I'm like, it's his home state. He's, very, like, he has like a cult following. I'm like, there's no way he's going to play
This was the
indoors.
first show he did since December or January.
Yeah, like,
and then
he
Gov
never
Balls
does
this weekend. So
yeah, he never does like concerts
like-
outside of,
like we should have just spent the $200.
yeah. Well,
We have to catch him again next time. If he comes on tour, he probably will.
yeah, we got to get him on the podcast.
If you guys don't listen to McGee, mk.gee, check him out. Amazing artist. Josh
Very
got me
unique.
into him earlier this year, and I think like he's my most played artist yet.
So I'm glad you guys are enjoying your local Jersey music and your musicians.
I mean, yeah, I wish I got to go to the show, but next time.
You guys want to jump into the mailbag here for a little bit?
Yes, sir.
All right, Josh, what's the number people can call in if they want to call into the mailbag?
The number to the mailbag is
908 67 99 99 3.
Hello, Josh, Jimmy, Jordan, and Ralph. I am Agnes. I met Sobo a couple months ago outside of Fleet Feet. But I want to say, justice for the intro. Bring it back. There are so many of you, which is why you should do the intro. Honestly, I think that it helps everyone like recognize who is actually talking to. But yeah, that's all I have to say. Have a great day, and I love the podcast. Still listening to every single episode since like 2022 or whenever it started. Have a good one. Bye.
Thank you,
All right,
Agnes.
I guess we got to bring the intro back.
But I feel like we should like pre-record something, like the Brady Bunch or something. Like we have a little,
Like a theme song.
yeah, like a theme song introducing ourselves.
We could talk through that.
Wait, so
think
you're
it'd
just
be
gonna
fun.
fold like that? Like all it took was one call, and you're gonna like, yeah, sure.
I just never really had a strong take. I just wanted to feel it out for a few weeks.
Yeah.
See, like like painting your room. Like, let's try a different color. Maybe we like it. I don't know. And then you're like, yeah, the regular color was good.
I have
after
a
all.
great mid ground. You start just talking like we normally do, just hanging. And then, like, after a few minutes, you're like, all right, once you're ready to go, that's when you're like, you're listening to the Garden State. That's when you go into your intro.
Okay, I like that more. 'Cause
You know,
then it
that's
feels
like you
more.
meet both.
Yeah, I think what I was thinking, and this is just a gut instinct sort of thing. No data on this. Nobody said anything. When somebody tunes into our podcast for the first time, they hear you're listening to the Garden State, the only New Jersey podcast that gives you all the news, and like it just is a little bit of a lot, don't you think?
I always liked it personally.
A little bit
Like,
of a
I'm
lot.
a fan
It's
of
word
it.
vomit.
Maybe because it's just you don't like hearing your voice, or like you think you've heard it so many times now, so
I
you
think it
wanted
just
something
feels,
fresh.
It feels gimmicky to me. It feels like we're selling people something, and I don't want to sell anything. I just want to hang out and have a
Seems
podcast.
corporate.
Yeah, man. Like
Yeah, we're not trying to sell merch on the 4th of July. I think, are you crazy?
Well-
we would never.
Well, I mean, that's an exchange of goods. We're bartering
For
cash for T-shirts.
giving everyone this information, this is what we're charging.
Well, Agnes, I hope you're doing well. Agnes was super nice when I met her, and she's been listening since 2022, which is very impressive. So thank you for the insight.
Thank you so much, Agnes.
We will take the suggestion and see what we could do this week. Tune in next week to find out what happens with that. All right, let's move on to another call here.
Hey, Garden State. It's Pauline from Sussex County. I wanted to call about two things from the last podcast. One, American Dream Mall. Me and my husband went a couple weeks ago, and the place was dirty. There was no toilet paper in the bathroom. The trash was overflowing, and it literally was spilling onto the floor out in the regular, like, walking area. Like, I don't think anyone works there, probably to save some money to pay back, all the money that they owe. But anyway, secondly, about the apartment thing, it's literally insane to me how many they keep putting up and how many people keep coming into the state when there's plenty of people that are our age who just need regular housing that's affordable. I mean, I live up here in North Jersey, first of all, where we have all one-lane roads around here. There's no, like, highways. So making it more congested is not helping. Also, you want to buy a home? Forget that. You could have a better chance of buying a freaking shed to live in because houses are just insanely priced. Like, you can, they want, it's literally a house falling apart is like $400,000. Like, I think that's kind of ridiculous. I have two Great Pyrenees dogs. I need a house with a yard. So, an apartment that's affordable, quotations, not really going to work. So,
Pauline from Sussex.
Hey, Pauline, I get what you're saying. I was going to say, she said 400,000. I'm like, where we live, that's
you can't find that anywhere, even for a pile of garbage.
Yeah, that's like a steal.
You're getting right here. You're getting a $600,000 fixer upper in this area.
Minimum.
But no, I think that Pauline is voicing what a lot of people are feeling, and she made a distinction. And I think this is something that I've made the distinction before, where she said we want affordable, regular housing. I think is what she said. We need just regular housing is what she said. And what I think she means by that is like a single family home. Like
yes.
I don't want to live in an apartment forever. I want to have a single, like, let's build houses again.
Yeah.
But not just houses, like normal size houses. Because you see it so often where...
Well, developments and all the houses look the same and they're all tiny.
Well, that, but also like any house that gets bought around here gets knocked down and they put up a house twice the size. So I'm like, you just took away a home that somebody... like a young couple could possibly afford.
Yeah. Because they know they're going to make the money.
Now you made it something that has a $10,000 a month mortgage. So I'm like, who's going to be affording that?
Well, and I hate to say it because the builders are going to come after me on this one. And, I'm a very free market sort of guy. I don't like regulation. But I think the only way forward with housing around that particular issue is the state, in the same way they have regulation around the apartments being put up and they have quotas and standards. They would need to do the same thing about housing. And I was thinking about this the other day. It's kind of interesting. Our state cares about affordable housing so long as it's an apartment, right? Like their vision for you is you're moving in an apartment. I get why builders put big houses up. It's because they're going to make more money on a big house. If you got a 1 acre piece of land, put a 5-bedroom, 4-bath house up. Why are you going to put a 3-bedroom, 2-bath when it's only going to cost you $100,000 more to build?
It kills me every time because they'll take these small homes on like maybe a 1/4 acre property and they'll build these houses. They'll be massive and then they get rid of the yard pretty much.
Yeah, they literally take up every square inch of the property.
Someone wants to move into a house that's like just like right next to your neighbor's house with no backyard. That sounds miserable.
Well, that's the thing. That's a point I will give to the boomers, and I dunk on the boomers a lot because they grew up, I think, primetime America. They got the best of it. We're still living in good times, not complaining, but I will say the boomers were content, a lot of them, with regular houses.
Yeah, all you needed.
They were fine with a Cape Cod, 3-bed, 1.5 bath, without building into a McMansion. And the thing is, boomers had more kids than people have now. That's the really funny thing. The number of people that have like 1 or 2 kids and they need a 6-bedroom mansion,
That's
you're
true.
like, what are we even doing anymore? I mean, you don't need a house that big. It's all subjective, I guess. So it is kind of weird times. I don't know. I get why a developer would want to put a big house up, Pauline, but I also feel the plight of the New Jersey resident who grew up here and you saw how your parents lived and you're like, I can't live how my parents lived.
No.
It's a different world for us.
I just don't understand who's buying the houses. And everybody asks the same question, like who's actually buying them? Because like they wouldn't be building houses that big if they weren't actually selling them. Like, because then they would just have, a dead asset on their head. Like,
like young couples moving into the state from maybe the city. They both have city jobs making a lot of money.
It's got, there you go. That's like the only thing is couples who are making a ton of money in the city with no kids.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it just doesn't make sense.
I don't know if you guys saw, there's a report that came out this week about the median age for home buyers in America. Did you guys hear about this?
No. What is it now?
I'm going to pull up an article. I just want to make sure I get the data right here. Here's one from February. I'm sure it's decently accurate. So in 1991, the average age of a home buyer, a first-time home buyer, was 28. In 2024, it was 38 years old.
Wow, it jumped 10 years.
First-time home buyer, it jumped 10 years. I saw another one, though, that said...
That's the median?
Yeah.
Wow.
The median age of just a home buyer, not a first-time home buyer, but someone buying a house today, the median age is 56.
56?
Yeah, so that's your answer.
Yeah, they got the money,
People
bro.
in their 40s and 50s and 60s are buying houses that my dad got his house when he was 26.
And a lot of them...
And it's just a different world.
And a lot of them, the 50, 60-year-olds, those are the ones that are buying the houses and building them and selling them for more.
Well, of course. And they have the resource because they've had other properties. And yeah, it's a complicated thing. I mean, I want to go down to Jackson. There's this dude, Chris Pollock. I hope I'm saying his last name right. And he is calling out the corruption in Jackson that we're seeing in a lot of these towns. Jackson's happening in, what's that other town down near Jackson? Was it Tom's River?
Egypt? Oh, Tom's River.
Was it not Tom's River?
Lakewood?
That's having the housing issues. In Jackson, there's big issues with housing where just overdevelopment's happening and lots of landlords buying property, right? And his point was there are laws that can be put into place. Like you can make rules about, different vacancy rules where, you have to live in the town if you want to rent a house out. He listed off, I can't remember off the top of my head, but he listed off a few different policies that I was like, wow, that's actually common sense. Like there are things townships can do in order to ensure that the towns maintain their kind of quality of how they've been and don't become overrun with just expensive housing.
Yeah. Do you think it's too late for a lot of these towns?
Listen, man, it's never too late. I don't think it's ever too late for anything in life besides there's certain things, but you can't culturally become a pessimist because then you got to give up. I have kids I'm raising in the state. I think it's never too late. We could turn it around. I could see apartment buildings being knocked down, that'll never happen. But
no. Well, I can see them falling down because I'm like, there's so many people who are like, there's no way it's gonna last more than like 20 years because they're just so crappily built. Like, I mean,
that's kind of terrifying, Jordan.
I don't know. I mean, well, I've just heard like people saying like the guys building it are so far removed from the people who are going to be owning it and actually living there,
so they don't care. They just want to get it out.
It's like you're working for a contractor, who's working for a contractor, who's working for another guy, who's working for a developer who plans on selling the place, who works for he's going to sell to some private equity who owns 1 million buildings who don't care about the tenants. Yeah. So it's like nobody actually cares.
You got to check back in 20 years.
Well, yeah, like when they all start tipping over.
I don't know if
did Jordan know something?
I don't know if they're going to fall apart, but a lot of what's happening with housing is based on this idea that there's no supply and there's a very heavy demand. And if something were to shift the demand for housing, I think we would see a dramatic shift. For example, the warehouses, last week we heard that 9% of warehouses in New Jersey are vacant right now. And we're building all these massive warehouses all around the state. And if developers find out 9% of warehouses are vacant, they're going to stop building warehouses.
Yeah.
And in the same way, I think if apartments go vacant for some reason, and I don't know what would cause that, a massive exodus of 10% of New Jersey to disappear, it would become very hard times for apartment developers.
It just always blows my mind how fast these apartment complexes fill up. It's like they open and then immediately they're filled.
Well, a lot of them give out like incentives to move in. Like some of them will give away like free stuff. They'll give away free months.
And people buy that immediately.
Well, yeah.
They're just like, sure, free month, and they get screwed. They don't even realize.
They also give away gifts because instead of lowering the rent.
That's a joke.
Instead of lowering the rent, they want to keep you at
no one's wise with their money
particular
either.
rent so they could sell it. So it's like, oh, we have X amount of people here paying $3,000 a month. They don't tell you, oh, we gave away 3 months for free or something rather than just lowering the rent.
Jordan.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out.
Poor Pauline. She's dealing with trying to find a house and no toilet paper at the American Dream Mall.
Yeah, so back to her original point. American Dream Mall not sounding like it's in good shape. But
we always hear bad things.
we're going to see what happens there. Maybe that gets
Hopefully
turned into...
she found a role or something.
I could see it becoming one big luxury apartment.
Probably.
One big, beautiful apartment. All right. Thank you, Pauline. Let's move into the news.
The episode.
Yeah.
Dun-dun-dun.
Some interesting news floating around the Garden State.
Gabago.
Yeah, and here's the big thing here is we're entering the summertime in New Jersey. We're in summertime. Mm-hmm. When does summer begin? June 21st?
June 21st. Is it June 20th or 21st? I always forget.
21st, I think.
I thought it was the 21st, but I feel like all the other seasons started on the 20th. Can we get a confirmation, Jor?
It says June 20th.
Wow, so it is. Okay, cool.
We're entering the summertime, and there's a lot happening all around the state. This first story deals with something we've been seeing at the shore. Governor Murphy's responding to some of the some of the actions that have been taking place at the Jersey Shore over the last few weekends.
Well, not just Jersey Shore, you also got the malls.
The
like
malls.
Menlo, Woodbridge.
Yeah.
They were threatening Bridgewater Mall.
Governor Murphy signed a law into effect that will criminalize public brawls with up to 18 months prison time.
Lock them up.
So, like we said, all these brawls down the shore, I mean, kids fighting like crazy. I would have thought that was already a crime, though. No?
Most of these people are locked up and then they're just released immediately because they can't handle it.
Yeah, but that's not, there's a difference between going to jail and going to prison, right? Like, you go to jail, you post your bail. Like, all these kids probably go to jail, they probably have a $500 bail, their parents get them out, and then they have a court date.
Yeah.
And the judge is going to determine. So, I mean, I'm not a judge and I'm not a lawyer. People used to make fun of me because I'd say that a lot. I'm not a lawyer. But it just seems a little bit like maybe redundant. I don't know. So here's what it says. New Jersey is cracking down on pop-up parties. Anyone who incites or organizes a public brawl can now be criminally charged, facing fines and potential jail time. So it says inciting a public brawl is now considered a fourth-degree crime, and violators face a $10,000 fine and up to 18 months in jail. Governor Phil Murphy signed the law into effect June 2nd, approximately 1 month after conditionally vetoing the legislation for the First Amendment concerns. So it's come back around. I think
it's getting out of hand now, so Murphy had to do something.
I get his perspective because you're saying because the language is kind of interesting, right? Pop-up parties is the first piece. NJ's cracking down on pop-up parties, which is what the kids are calling them. But then it talks about public brawl. So a pop-up party...
Well, the pop-up parties turn into brawls.
I know, but like, I guess I get the First Amendment concern where you're like, well, where's the line there? Like if you and we want to go out to a park with 100 people to protest something, right? I don't know. That's all right. At what point is it a crime versus, and I know that fighting and stuff, the brawls, but like a fight could break out without me knowing. I could plan an event at a park and people fight at kids' birthday parties.
Yeah, I think it's more when it's
Little League
intentional.
games.
Like these kids are like doing these meetups at malls intentionally wanting chaos.
So they're going to prove intent, is what you're saying.
I guess. But also you see these TikToks and like they're just inviting all their friends to like these public malls. It's like obviously something's going to go down here.
Yeah.
It's not like you're inviting all your friends to an open park.
Yeah.
So like just say you want to do like a peaceful protest at a mall. It's different than like you going to the park.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. So it says, in an effort to prevent public incidents with disorderly crowds and pop-up parties, authorities are now allowed to charge those who provoke other individuals, at least 4, into disorderly conduct with inciting a public brawl. Those who conceal their identities with masks while fighting or for the purpose of instilling fear can also be charged. This does not apply to those who wear masks for medical, religious, or demonstrative purposes. What's a demonstrative purpose to wear a mask?
I don't know.
Maybe you're wearing a mask to demonstrate
that you want to brawl.
That you want to. What if it's like a wrestling mask?
Yeah.
Like you're wearing a luchador mask. What are they going to do then?
It's a birthday party.
It's funny. So the law comes in the wake of a series of recent large public gatherings where violence and chaos have ensued. Most recently in Seaside Heights, where fights led to 73 arrests and 3 stabbed on Memorial Day weekend. Yeah, shout out to Governor Murphy here trying to shut this down. Something's got to be done. And I'm wondering if Governor Murphy's feeling a little bit of the heat, the summer heat, but he's probably feeling a little bit of the heat with We got rising energy costs, which, whether or not that's completely on him, he's the governor, so people are going to look to him. And then we got fights at the shore, and then we're entering the summer before an election cycle, and I'm sure Murphy's got to be going, oh my goodness, like we got to get this, we got to get things together in this state.
He doesn't want to leave this place such a wreck.
Well, I mean, it just feels like lately, and I don't know if we're just being dramatic, but it just feels like there's a lot of craziness in New Jersey. I don't know if it's just these New Jersey accounts, like the Garden State page that's always talking about bad stuff, but it's making me feel like there's just craziness in the state. What do you think?
Yeah, and like another reason why he signed this bill was because in Gloucester Township, they were preparing for their annual carnival, but it's been postponed indefinitely due to threats of violence. So like these kids are like trying to set up these pop-up parties and threatening violence. And I think this carnival has been going on for forever in Gloucester County. So, last year there was about 500 teens who brawled in the streets and officers were hurt trying to break up the crowds. And now this year there's threats. They have to cancel it. It's a very sad situation. So you see it all throughout the state, not just the Jersey Shore.
Man.
So that's why it's like, okay, now you want to start this, you're going to get 18 months in prison. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Could you imagine that? You show up to a public gathering, you just get in a fight and you're in jail for 18 months. Like imagine you get mixed up in it.
No, but like if you're the one starting it, you'll probably get it.
But how do they prove that?
Maybe video evidence.
Easy.
That's probably the only way.
Social media. These kids
I guess
film
if you have
themselves
video.
telling everyone to come down. I saw so many for like Memorial Day weekend. It's stupid.
That's true. There's always
Put a
somebody
mask on
filming.
or something.
Security cameras.
Yeah. Well, there's that. I mean, it's an interesting rule. Do you think it has an impact? That's what I'm curious. Do you think kids are going to be afraid? I think some people are going to have to get arrested first. And how quickly does word spread if a kid gets
They need to make an example of one person, and then it'll like actually happen.
Some poor kid is going to be...
He's going to be walking through a boardwalk and be like, people are fighting? Let me go check this out. And get punched in the face and go to jail. I don't know. No, I think you're right, Josh. I think the good thing about harsh penalties is you need to use them on a lot of people.
No, just make an example.
Make an example of...
If you're the kid posting the TikTok inviting everyone to come out to the mall for a party,
It's like,
you're the one that's going to get screwed, bud.
And I hope Attorney General Matt Placken follows through on this. I hope they're very aggressive, trying whoever these kids are.
Yeah.
That do this
Don't
stuff.
just keep letting them go, because then it's going to keep on happening.
You can't spend 3 months getting this kid to trial, because in 3 months the summer's over and you just wasted a summer at the Jersey Shore, baby. And we only got so many of those. So
yeah, man.
We got to get some action going here. Moving on to other Governor Murphy related topics. Governor Phil Murphy has announced an electric bill rate discount for all New Jersey residents this summer.
That's how bad it's getting.
Yeah.
So now they're just going to give us $100 because, the rates are ridiculous.
Yeah, so as New Jersey residents brace for a summer of massive electric rate increases that could become a major issue in the November gubernatorial election, Governor Phil Murphy on Thursday announced a temporary relief, which is...
A Band-Aid.
Yeah, I think, by the way, gubernatorial, great word.
It really is.
I can't say that word. Whenever I read it, I'm like, gubernatorial. It's
just so random.
It is.
With
Like,
my
why'd they throw
lisp,
a
I
B in
can't
there?
say it.
It's just gubernatorial.
Gubernatorial.
It's called the governor's race.
I can't say it.
Yeah, I know. Man, making up words. So all 3.9 million ratepayers will see a total of $100 deducted from their electric bills this summer and fall. Lower income families will get a $250 deduction. So the deductions will be spread from July to December. Funding for the deductions will come from the state's Clean Energy Fund, the BPU's share of the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative funds, and the Solar Alternative Compliance Fund. So what I want to know is, are we funding those funds?
Well, who else would be?
Yeah, I don't know if that's like a federal incentive, like the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative Fund. Is that a federal thing or is that a state thing?
I'm not sure.
I'm assuming it's us giving ourselves a discount.
Well, even if it's the federal government, it still kind of is because
Yeah, it's still our
you're
money.
still paying
Yeah,
taxes
true.
to the federal government. So like,
At the end of the day, all this stuff, I would rather just say, don't give me a discount and just cut my taxes.
yeah, just cut my taxes
Give
by
me
$100.
a $100 tax cut.
It would never happen.
Like, just give everybody $100. Hey, we're giving a $100 tax cut. Why does it have to be we're going to pay you out $100?
You're basically paying yourself.
So basically, you just earned interest on my $100 for however long since you taxed me up for it. Like that's the way I see it. Or no, you took my money interest free only to give it back to me.
Yeah, it's like
That's
a
what I
loan
meant.
interest free.
So the initiative reflects our administration's broader and enduring commitment to making New Jersey more affordable for more families, from housing to healthcare to higher education, and of course, today's topic, to utilities, Murphy said. Murphy blamed PJM, the entity that manages the flow of electricity produced by the utility companies to customers in 13 states. The Democrat said PJM did not plan for the increased energy use or to bring clean energy sources online. As a result of these failures, PJM is now trying to pass the buck onto the people of the state of New Jersey by increasing the average energy bill in our state by a lot of dollars, Murphy said. All that is, by the way, this is another quote, all that is, by the way, a lot of dollars, which is a conservative estimate that is shameful and unacceptable. So Murphy coming in hot there. So the article goes on to say Republicans were not impressed by Murphy's plan. State Senator Anthony Bucco, a Republican of Morris Township, called it a cover-up by Trenton Democrats. Ooh. He says today's announcement from the governor is just another Band-Aid, whether it's deferral of the energy cost increase or this credit on your bill. The fact remains it doesn't fix the overarching problem, and it certainly doesn't go far enough to help the families and small businesses already struggling to afford their utility bills. It simply delays the pain to avoid political fallout in an election year. So I somewhat agree with what he's saying there. I think there is a big problem for Murphy right now, and I mentioned it earlier. People, I think, vote with their wallet, and people are going to vote if your energy costs go up 30% this summer. I don't know. I think Mikey Sherrill or Stephen Fulop might have a hard time with that.
That's why they're throwing this $100 at you right now, because they want to just keep people distracted from the fact that there is a problem.
I think most people, some people, incentives like these, are enough to qualm their concerns. But I think most people, regular people, are like, my bill's still going up. I don't want to credit. I just want my bill to go down. So I think, I see both sides of it. I think Murphy's trying to do what he can. It sounds like PJM screwed up with some of this energy delivery. And as a result, now energy costs are skyrocketing. I did see something funny the other day where someone was like, all the Energy Star appliances, all the LED light bulbs in everyone's house, and your energy bill has never gone down. Think about it. When we were kids, we didn't have LED bulbs in every socket in our house. We had fluorescent light bulbs. Yep. We didn't have Energy Star appliances, right? Like our dishwashers, and we had the old school stuff 20 years ago. And maybe Energy Star was starting to come around 20 years ago. I don't know when that push was. But have energy bills gone down in the last 20 years or up? I mean, it's
even
funny.
Like flatlined.
We all have LED bulbs. Like, how much less energy are we using because of LED light bulbs? Think about it. It must be crazy.
But do we have more tech in our houses now?
Maybe.
Where we added more things that require electricity.
That's true. My whole studio is just, the wall is a mess of just power from like all the computer and speaker stuff.
I think power's more efficient though. Think about a TV from 1995, a big, massive tube box TV with those things are huge. The amount of power they were probably pulling to
was it though? Like, were they taking a lot of power?
An LED TV, like that computer monitor in front of Jordan probably pulls nothing. Like, look at that tiny screen. Mm-hmm. Like, screens are so efficient. TVs, they're efficient. Like, everything is a computer from 1995 versus a computer today. Computers in 1995 had those thick black cables running to them. My computer now has a lightning cable going into it. So it's like, I'll listen to the argument, but I think overall, everything's more efficient. Everything's more green and energy efficient.
Do you look at your bill every month to actually see like how much energy is being used in your house and all that kind of stuff?
No,
or no?
I honestly, I put it on auto pay, and I haven't looked at it, and I don't want to look at it because it's
pretty interesting if you ever like read into it.
It's gonna depress me.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of insane to think about. Yeah.
That last quote's pretty interesting in the article.
I want solar power on my property on that 15-acre lot I was talking about earlier. Let's read this last quote. So the only reason they have money to hand out is because they've been quietly stuffing utility bills with hidden charges for years. He said, now, right before an election, they want credit for giving a little bit back.
That's Assemblyman Michael Teresi of Atlantic County.
Interesting.
So yeah, maybe that's why the bills haven't been going down. There's these hidden charges.
I think all politicians play with giving people money.
Maybe.
And it's such a sneaky, because I heard someone say one time, like, who can lose an election to Santa Claus? Like, if you're giving people checks, like, we're all gonna be like, I'll vote for that guy. Like, give me more money. It's kind of funny when you think about it. Jordan should just do that when he runs. You should just give away money.
Yeah, I figure that's a winning platform.
Give everybody a
car. Vote for me, you get a car.
The Oprah method.
That is pretty sweet. Wait, speaking of cars, this is kind of unrelated. Well, somewhat related to electric. I got a piece of mail saying, like, you have to pay $250 for an electric vehicle or whatever, like, to register, even though we don't have an electric vehicle.
Yeah, we did a story. Oh, did they send it to you?
Yeah. Well, it was for my sister's car. She got like a 2005 Kia that says you have an electric. It's like, it's not an electric vehicle.
Wow.
But we did a story about that 2 years ago, remember? Like when Murphy proposed that, and we're like, this is crazy, but now it's actually happening.
Yeah.
Wait, but is there some sort of electric component to your sister's car? Is it like a hybrid?
No. I mean, it's 2005. Like, it's like a V6 or whatever. Like,
interesting.
It's like, it is far from an electric vehicle. But I think
they
just send it out with like random things, because it says if applicable. But it only came about her car.
Okay.
So I was like, that's
maybe
super
that
weird.
model had a hybrid model. Is it, what kind of a car is it?
I forget the name of it. It's one of the Kia like SUVs though.
Maybe not.
That's why I'm like, there's no way they're making hybrid Kia SUVs. But
all right, let's get on to another story here. This one's kind of a cultural blow. I don't like this at all, and I'm going to give a little monologue as to why. Wawa has a new rule that you will now need to pay for gas before filling up your tank.
No more 20 regular cash, bro.
No more 20 regular cash in the J, in the Garden State.
Well, you got to pay first, and then you can get your 20 regular cash.
Yeah, but then what's the point of saying it? You just give a guy a $20 bill.
Yeah, you're not going to ask for it. You're just like, here's $20.
And I don't like this because I think this is symbolic of a cultural problem in a larger way. I know this sounds nitpicky and small. You're not allowed to go up to the gas attendant and say, hey, $20 regular, and he fills it up. And then you pay him afterwards. Like a normal piece of our culture for so long, not allowed anymore.
Well, at least it's just Wawa. Like, how often are you going to Wawa for gas?
You're right, but I think this will become a larger, I think this is probably going to become a larger trend.
Yeah, I was going to say, if Wawa's doing it, it's going to set a standard.
And the reason they're doing it, right, is because people are saying 20 regular cash. They put the pump in, and then they drive off without paying.
Do they not get the cops called on them if they do that?
I'm sure they get the cops calling, but they don't care.
It's like $20. Like, they're not going to, like, investigate it. It's probably happening in areas where they have bigger things to deal with.
So if you're filling up at Wawa, you'll notice some changes. No more filler up cash. Now you have to pay up front. Beginning this week, Wawa stores in New Jersey have changed their policy. If you order gas, you'll need to pay first. This won't impact people who pay with credit cards, since it's always been that way, but it will be much different when using cash. Instead of waiting to see how much it'll be, you'll pay up front. Now, I know, again, nitpicky, in the weeds. I don't like this because it's a symbolic, piece of culture that shows we no longer live in a high trust society. We can't have high trust things, and that's bad for the social currency all around us. We need to live in a culture where we trust one another, where the gas attendant isn't thinking, is this guy a thief or is he a good guy? We lived in a culture where a gas attendant would trust you. Hey, $20? Yeah, I'll fill it up. Give me the $20. Mm-hmm. Like, I always thought that, man, I can't believe they don't take the money up front. They just let you fill it up. But, like, I would never drive off with the gas. But now things are changing.
Apparently people are doing it.
It's the same thing we see with self-checkout. Stores are getting rid of self-checkout because people are stealing. I don't want to live in a culture where everyone around me is a thief. I don't want to live in a culture where I go to Target and I have to call the person to get the deodorant out from behind the glass. Lock these people up. Let those of us that want to behave live in a fun, free, open society where we can get along and trust one another. And if you don't want to be a part of that, there should be very harsh penalties, put people in prison, and let the prison system deal with them. Sorry, not sorry. I don't want to live in that world. I'm putting my foot down.
Wow.
That was
Is
your
that-
fist.
That came in hot right there, brother.
Is that messed up, Jordan?
No, I mean, like to your point, like every time I go out to see my brother in LA, like everything is locked up. Like you go in Target,
Well,
it's
LA
like,
is like a third world
it's like
country
literally
now.
anything you need. It's like the tiniest thing. It's like you have to get, press a button or call an employee to come open it up just to get a deodorant or a shampoo or whatever it is in a Target.
We don't have to live like that. This is the thing that makes me the most insane. We do not have to live like that. It is not like there is every day spawning up a new criminal. If you look at New York City, I remember there was a stat about how it's like 400 repeat offenders committing a majority of thefts in New York City. It's like a small group of people.
Yeah.
LA might have a couple thousand thieves, or maybe it's 10,000. But there's a quantifiable group of people doing this that we need to resolve it. We need to be tough on those people. And if you're not, what happens is the few bad apples make life more inconvenient for the rest of us. Is it a big deal to have to give the guy the $20 cash? Of course not. Of course not. Anybody can do that. But do we want to begin having these subtle waving the white flag of culture going, yeah, we'll give up this thing, we'll give up the deodorant, we'll give up. And then eventually it's like we don't trust anybody. You have zero trust. You don't trust your neighbor. You don't go over and ask him for an egg when you need an egg. I don't want to live in that world. That is dystopian. I don't want to live in a world where you don't trust anybody around you. And I think, honestly, there are people that want that to become the case for states like ours.
But at the same time, I totally agree with everything you're saying. But isn't it not that big of a deal? Just give the guy the $20. Like you do with a credit card. You put your credit card in before you get gas.
Of course, but I'm saying, of course, it's not a big deal. But I'm saying it's bigger than the $20.
Yeah, it's bigger than this whole thing. Yes,
It's showing
100%.
a cultural lack of trust that we need to trust one another. We need to not have to be worried under every rock as a criminal trying to steal from me. It doesn't have to be this way. It wasn't always this way. Clearly, we grew up in a world where we have keychains we sell in our store that say 20 regular cash on it because culturally, that's what we say in New Jersey. That's a part of our culture, is we don't worry about, the gas attendant isn't worried about me being a thief, but something is shifting to the point where they're worried about everybody being a thief. So it's like, why are we going to live like this? Does that make sense?
I don't see any other gas station doing this for a while. You guys
Maybe
think it's
you're
going to happen? I think it's just going to be Wawa.
Maybe you're right. I don't know.
I would love to see the stats on like how many times this happens throughout the state where like someone's driving off.
Well, if I was implementing a rule, I feel like it has to be happening often. And if you can't do it there anymore, you're going to go other places. So these same people who are doing it there,
Yeah.
now I'm going to go to Quick Check.
That's
or
the
I'm gonna
next
go to
question I got to ask my gas
the Shell
attendant
station.
at the local gas station.
What,
I'm
how
gonna
many
be
people do that?
Because he watches the Garden State. I'm like, bro, like, so we're talking about this thing with people running off. Has anyone ever ran off here? So it's interesting. I got to do a local study.
And to me, this doesn't matter because I pump my own gas.
Yeah, technically illegal.
According to our one listener, that's very illegal, but I don't know. Sorry for the rant, guys. I don't like seeing the world change. I don't like seeing, my parents are of the generation where they would barely even lock their car doors. I know that's crazy, but like they still are like that, where I'm like, is your car door unlocked right now? It's like they grew up in a time where that was just not, of course people stole in the 70s. Of course, there's always been thieves. But did everyone have a doorbell on their house that recorded the whole neighborhood because they were worried about thieves? No, of course not. You didn't have to live like that.
No.
And like it's the subtle submissions, the subtle, we wave the white flag on this, then it's one thing after another until eventually it's like, what are we even, if we're a society where nobody trusts anybody, then what is this? We're a bunch of individuals going to work to make money, to go home to our private houses, not talking to our neighbors, not trusting the people around us. And
Yeah, it sounds awful.
that's where things get really kind of dangerous because you have no trust for anybody.
Yeah.
And we need to have a culture where we can trust our neighbors. You go down to the gas station, the guy knows you, he trusts you. It has to be that way. Otherwise it's not worth being a part of. I don't know. Like when we were in Montana, Josh, this is a great, I always bring it up, but when we were in Montana, the lady, we were in Paradise Valley, Montana, middle of nowhere. The lady at the convenience store said, when we have a lot of farmers around here, when they have a bad season and they can't pay for their groceries, we'll put it on their tab and they come back months later and they pay. And then she said, I bought a new 2020, well, this is probably 2015 when we went. I bought a 2015 brand new pickup truck. And she's like, I've never taken the keys out of the ignition in this last year since I bought it. I don't lock the doors on it. People don't do that around here.
Yeah,
and I was like, where am I? This is a thing. And of course, maybe it's a little idealistic, but here we're worried about people stealing our cars. Yeah. I think my point's been made. Sorry.
You're
No,
good.
I agree. I think part of the issue though is the internet, because you just see, like to your point with the Ring doorbell, you just see other people's Ring doorbell of crazy things happening. You're like, oh my gosh, that could happen near me, and it just makes you like distrusting or like paranoid that
Listen,
you're getting because back then you wouldn't know about all these things. You wouldn't know about a crime happening in California or in Alabama. It's like you don't hear about that stuff. Now it's like you scroll on Instagram and you see everything.
everything's recorded.
And most people are decent people. This is the real messed up part is you should turn off the media, go hang out with your neighbor and see what kind of person they are. I needed an egg on Sunday morning. I went over to my neighbor's house, said, hey, do you have an egg? And they gave me 2 eggs. Wow. Great people. I mean, like, that's small, but I have enough of a relationship with these people where if I need something, there's something really nice about asking your neighbor for like, hey, do you have a stick of butter I could have? And they're like, yeah. I mean, like, it makes it feel like, and they're never going to say to me, hey, would you pay me back for those eggs? That's just what neighbors do. Like, you trust one another. It's a give and take. And I mean, if we lose that, we have nothing. I don't know. I'd feel like New Jersey's not even worth being a part of at that point. So with that, go talk to your neighbors. Be optimistic. I'm an optimist. Go hang out with people. Regular people are really nice. Go hang out with your neighbors and stop, letting these people that want to commit crime ruin our state. In a random pivot into a new story, a toddler was rescued this week after falling into the baggage conveyor belt at Newark Airport.
Just a typical day at Newark Airport. Almost
Crazy.
killed a kid.
Yeah, a toddler caused quite the scare at Newark Liberty International Airport after getting onto a baggage conveyor belt at the ticketing desk and riding it all the way to the baggage room. This reminds me of Baby's Day Out. Did you guys watch that movie as a
Yeah,
kid?
the best.
That's what I was just thinking of.
Oh, I love that movie. It was a shocking and scary situation when a 2-year-old ended up on a conveyor belt that is meant for luggage. The toddler gained access to the belt at the JetBlue counter on the departures level on Wednesday. Officers then found the child in the checked bag room on the lower level. Thankfully, unhurt. It's extremely dangerous, said Keith Jeffries, vice president of K2 Security's screening group. You've got diverters back there that are actually these gigantic pushers and levers, if you will, that will shove those bags down the appropriate conveyor belt. And that alone can be fatal for a small child. So luckily, this little child was okay. I've always wondered what would happen if I went on that belt.
I was always thinking, what does it look like back there? Like, even as an adult, every time I'm at the check-in counter, I'm like, what's it? Like, how crazy is it back there?
I think of Monsters Inc. with the doors.
All I think about, too, with the doors.
Really?
It's probably like a giant back. It probably looks so boring compared to that, but, like, all I think about is, like, a giant world.
Yeah.
But, like, imagine the fear. Like, you're at the airport checking in June, all of a sudden jumps on a thing and she disappears. Like,
And here's
what kind of heart attack are you going to have? Like, that's terrifying.
Toddlers, I have a toddler now. They do their own thing, and I used to judge the parents that had the leash at the airport or at the mall.
Are you becoming a leash parent?
I want to get a leash.
No,
my wife
bro,
would never
don't do
let me,
it.
but I'm like, you're at the airport.
I feel like June stays pretty close to you.
She
whenever you tell
listens
her.
to me, because we live on a street where we don't have a big grassy front yard to run around in, and we play on the sidewalk. If she goes near the street and I say, get away from the street, she'll listen. So she's pretty good. And at the airport, I think we would be way more hyper vigilant. That's the thing is, what was going on? It's stressful when you're checking a bag. Maybe these parents were trying to sort through some stuff. But a happy ending to a scary incident. Parents, when you're at the airport, maybe put a leash on your kid.
Yeah.
That's really scary. I mean, like, as a kid, you see a conveyor belt. You're like, this is
like,
cool.
I would
I
jump
want to
on
go
that.
on that thing.
If you had the opportunity.
I mean, this could have been way worse. Newark Airport would have continued to get some terrible headlines if this child was injured. So thank God the child was not hurt. And
what a story to tell when you're older.
I know.
Yeah, I took a ride in the back.
Mm-hmm. If you work at the airport, hit us up. Let us know what that back room looks like. I would love a tour. It's a dream, isn't it?
Go for a ride.
All right, let's go on to the last story here. In Riverside, New Jersey, a man on a horse helped police catch a hit-and-run suspect.
Dude on a horse just showed up out of nowhere and saved the day.
Pretty epic. Pretty legendary. So a mystery man on a horseback is being held as a hero for catching a driver who slammed into a vehicle and then tried to get away in Burlington County, according to the police. It happened in Riverside on Saturday morning, according to Riverside Police. A woman who lived at a home on Middleton Street said she heard a loud crash outside on the street. As she went outside, the woman saw a vehicle racing away. She looked around and saw that a parked car had been damaged. Moments later, a man riding a horse appeared and told the woman he had seen the crash. The vehicle that sped off was a gray Honda Accord. Police only identified the man as PJ. He was visiting Riverside to show off his horse to his friends.
That's amazing.
I like
in
this
the
guy.
perfect place.
He's just there, no showing
He's
off.
in the
like, check out my
perfect
horse.
place, showing off his horse, and then he sees this hit and run.
So they did give the name of his horse, which is Shiny. His horse is named Shiny. Together, PJ and Shiny took off after the sedan and caught up. PJ got a partial plate from the vehicle and gave it to the police. Later Saturday, police arrested 22-year-old Italio Lalve Galasaka.
Good luck with that last name.
That's the best
rough.
you're going to get out of me.
That's good.
So the person got arrested. Shout out to PJ and Shiny. Bunch of local legends.
You know what I'm thinking?
What?
He's probably Amish.
Maybe. He doesn't look Amish.
No? I don't know.
What,
He's
just because
riding
he has a horse?
Yeah. He's riding around a horse chasing
People
a car.
from South Jersey have
This
horses.
dude is not Amish, bro.
I don't know. I had a dream that
He's wearing a hoodie and he's wearing a hoodie and Timberlands, I think.
I was really hoping that he was going to be Amish.
Maybe he's
Is this
Amish.
like common though, like down south?
What, just having a horse?
Yeah, just like
Just, like, running around like
I'm
that?
showing off my horse to my friends down the street, and you're just like riding down a street. Like obviously you don't see that here, not Union County.
I don't know, man. I don't know. But a happy ending to a crazy story there.
Where even is Riverside, New Jersey?
It looks
Do you guys even know where it is off the top of your head?
I'm going to guess
No.
down somewhere near like the Cherry Hill area.
It's right next to the Delaware Riverside.
North of Philly.
Yeah,
I knew it.
right north of Cinnamonson.
This stuff only happens down there. That would never happen in Montclair.
I know.
A dude on a horse bringing out justice.
Bringing out justice. He saved the day.
So that was our last story of the week, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah, we're officially in June. It's going to be a little rainy this weekend.
Just a little. I think they're saying just a few showers on Saturday, but like other than that, it should be nice.
And then we're back in action. Then it's officially summer. So hope you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy the heat. Hopefully jump in a pool. And we'll see you next Friday for more news, information, conversation, and bad jokes. Thank you all.
Later.
You're listening to the Garden State. The Dirty Jers.